Divine and royal greetings, family. Shayola Binti here, co-host, the TEG Collective Build Through broadcast. I am not by myself. The other co-hosts are coming in, Coach Shantae and Coach Latoya. We do have a special guest right here from Richmond, Virginia, going through our last installment of Breastfeeding Awareness Month. Stay tuned, y'all. Stay tuned. Welcome back, and thank you so much for joining us. If you're seeing this live, we say hey. If you're seeing this as a replay, we ask that you drop replay down in the comments. So, as I stated, this is our final installment of Breastfeeding Awareness Month, and I'm so honored. We are so honored to have our next guest on with us. She actually came through in a crutch. It's definitely crutch. For my breastfeeding experience, and I was like, girl, you want to come on the show with us? And she was like, sure. So without further ado, we have Richmond's own. I hope I could say that, because it's just like you are here in Richmond doing it up with the Diverse Birth Collective.
Yes.
So this is NyTasha Stevens. She is a certified lactation consultant. She is a doula, right?
Yes, and
she is. And she's a mama of how many now?
5.
Now, y'all, if y'all see the petiteness on this thing, you say, really 5? 5 though? So we just want to say welcome to Build Through broadcast with the TEG Collective. Y'all, I'm outside. I'm sweating, but that's okay. Vitamin D is in full effect. So, my dear, thank you again for coming on. So we're just going to jump right into it.
Yeah,
so,
thank you for having me.
Yes. You are always welcome. So tell us, when did your lactation journey begin?
Right before COVID, so around 19. Right before COVID, I had already been a doula. I've been doing the doula work for probably 2 years at that point, 3 years. And so just kind of like breastfed my 16-year-old for a hot second. And then it just like happened. I was like, oh, they have this training, and I would love to know more about breastfeeding, nursing, just how that flows, not thinking I was going to have any more kids. Let's talk about that. And I took the class, and I was like, yo, like the knowledge continues. Like I'm still learning. I'm still finding out more things, but it's been like 3 years, almost 4 years now. I love it. Yeah.
You know what though? You can tell that you love it. You know, when I initially called you, you were like in it. You were in the conversation. Like, listen, this is what you could do. Don't feel no way about nothing. Just get it done. But you definitely changed my regimen. You was like, no, I need you to.
You won't do it right. Right.
I wasn't. You was like, wait, how many hours in between? That is not gonna
Yeah.
work. Okay. I
That's
need
not
you
gonna cut it.
on it.
Yep.
It was not going to cut it. So I thank you again for that.
Yeah.
And just thank you for the work overall. Just the whole dynamic of doulaship, if you will,
Yeah.
breastfeeding wasn't always at the forefront,
Yeah.
and the Diverse Collective has definitely been at the forefront, especially in the Richmond area, for just bringing this whole awareness alive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
think it's good that like one of our big things in the collective is just talking about like things that are okay. Like it's okay, even if you don't hear so many people that don't understand
Mm-hmm.
breastfeeding or feeding your baby without formula and stuff like that. And so us being able to kind of shine a light on the fact that nursing your baby is super normal.
Mm-hmm.
Feeding your baby breast milk via a bottle, a syringe, your nipple, whatever is so okay. And you don't have to be ashamed of it. It's not,
Mm.
I put my breast out everywhere.
I love that. I put my breasts out anywhere.
Everywhere.
But you know what? And just normalizing it, right?
Yeah.
Because the breasts were initially created as a feeding source, not anything that was sexual, And I think that, I don't know when it happened. Perhaps you do know when breastfeeding became kind of like, if you were breastfeeding, you were thought to be of like low class.
It's
So,
like it's this whole thing of, again, like you said, breast being for sex.
mm,
Like now as a nursing mom, it's like, so even before I started nursing my current nursing baby, I didn't look at breasts when I'm looking at other people and they're nursing like, why is she doing it? I'm like, oh, that's so pretty. Like I like to see stuff like that. I'm amazed with breastfeeding. I'm amazed with pregnant bodies. I'm amazed with families, and I love that anyway. But like when people look at breasts and they sexualize them, or we use them, unapologetically in that act, it's like you're welcome because they're not for
right.
you.
Right,
They're
right.
not for you. So if you are benefiting from what is here, literally created to feed our babies, then you are welcome, ma'am, sir,
Mhm,
anybody,
mhm,
right?
mhm,
But it's just
mhm.
been a long time of just even bringing breast eating, even having babies in the hospital or things
Mhm.
like that. Like back then, we were feeding everybody's babies. Our ancestors
Mm,
were feeding everybody's babies from our breast. And so it
mhm,
was okay. But when you start making everything a medical situation, a medical thing, like breastfeeding is not medical, having a baby is not medical. But when you make it that, then it looks like, oh, this is wrong, or there's another way or a better way to do it. Like we can walk out of having our baby and it be nothing but us and our baby, and we have literally everything that our baby needs with
mm.
nothing else. We don't need a blanket, we don't need a diaper, we don't need anything. If it's just us and our baby, we have everything that our baby needs, given special circumstances, right? Like
Right.
specifically like your own. Like, but
Mhm,
given like we have everything we need.
mhm,
So you're
mhm.
welcome if
Yeah,
anybody remember that.
you're welcome. Coach Latoya has entered the scene. Thank you so much for coming on, sis. Do you have any questions for our special guest, certified lactation consultant, NyTasha
Ooh,
Stevens?
I love that.
Thank you so much for coming on as our wonderful guest.
Thank
Apologies
you.
for my tardiness. Um,
Mhm.
I not sure if it was already answered, but what's the best part of your work as a lactation consultant?
I think helping the families, helping the breastfeeding mom understand that you can do it. It's so many. It goes from thinking that I can't because I don't have the support or I don't have the knowledge or my breasts are too big or too small or I had a breast reduction or my nipples are flat or whatever, and helping them to realize that you can do it. Like when they get over all of the fears and the misconceptions and the myths and them realizing that they can, and then actually doing it, I think that's my favorite. Just knowing, and them saying like, thank you. Not necessarily the thank you so much as you are doing it and you are feeding your baby, even if you're pumping and giving your baby that breast milk out of the bottle. It's like the fact that you can produce this milk, you can feed your baby the way, whatever your goal is, you can achieve it. And I think so probably my best part of the work, to answer your question, is the aha moments that they have, like, oh, I can do that, and I will do it.
And I will do it.
Will.
One of the things that I heard Dr. B say yesterday is allow. I will allow myself to do that. So that's a great question, Coach Latoya. And just to veggie back on that, what do you think is the spiritual aspect of breastfeeding?
I think and if I'm understanding your question correctly, I think it's saying giving yourself permission, giving yourself, like, honoring your body, honoring yourself, honoring the fact that you've had a baby, because that's huge. Like, you grew a baby and you had a baby and you've done this, and honoring that, and then being like, I'm okay and I love this, and the what I'm giving my baby is spiritual. It's um it's I don't even know how to describe it. Like, what I'm giving my baby is so, like, wholesome and so, like, necessary, and the bond that you have with your baby, and again, no matter how you are giving your baby that milk, like, it's just, I don't know, it's just like the connection that, like, you can't get it back. Now they be clingy.
Okay.
They clingy, but it's like that connection, that bond, that like, I need you, like, you are it, you are the source, you are exactly what I need. And like, I can go to cousin, auntie, mom, whoever, dad, and get them to love on me, but that connection that they have, like, they might not want you any other time, but they know that when they are hungry, they know that their needs are going to be met by you. So I don't know if that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, so here at the collective, what we like to focus on is really the mind, body, spirit aspect of all things as it relates to our wealth, our health, being, wellness. So we know that there is definitely a spiritual aspect to even breastfeeding. What does that, look like? And what I'm hearing you say, really, it's the bond, it's the connection. Now, though it was a movie, I found it to be very interesting. So I watched Lucy again for the first time in years. And there's a scene in there where she calls her mom because she knows that she's about to go on this adventure, if you will. And she says, like, Mom, I can remember you holding me. I can remember your breast milk. I can remember being in your womb. So just, even subconsciously, the children being able to remember that nurture. And like our first guest said to us, Nana Doula, the breast milk has great technology in it, right? So it provides everything that the baby needs. And you reiterated that today. It through the saliva, just being able, like, what? No prescription. This is just me and my baby connecting, and him or her being able to tell me what it is that they need, I think is phenomenal.
Without saying anything, right? Because, of course, they're not talking, they're not speaking in that way. But if my baby has a stomach ache, or if my baby has whatever, like, the baby's saliva and the secretions around your nipples and your body work together to change the makeup of your breast milk to be able to help your baby get better, help your baby with that fever, help your baby with whatever that is that they are going through. Like, you don't have to say, oh, I need to give my baby First of all, I never give your baby Tylenol, but I need to give your baby Tylenol, or give your baby whatever, because they have this going on. Or I can continue to nurse my baby and because the composition of my breast milk is changing because my baby and my body are working together and it knows what to do. And I don't even have to say anything. It's not mom. It's not like me per se making that change. It's the baby triggering what needs to happen within my body to give that baby what they need. It's magic. It's just magic.
It is magic though. When you think about it, like just the fact that, again, through the saliva, the baby is like, I need this, I need this, I need this. And your body just does that thing.
Just
it's
does
incredible.
Yeah.
This is pretty dope nanotechnology. Like, you know, these human avatars or these skin suits, if you will, are pretty fancy schmancy. They are magical.
Top tier.
They are top tier. They are top tier. So you answered for part of this already, but what has been your, and I think you touched on it a bit, your experience as a mom who breastfeeds, like from child 1 to child 5? Like run through that for us.
So my twins, who are about to be 22 in a month.
Wow.
I mean, let's just stop there. They were not breastfed, right? So they were NICU babies, and I didn't know anything. And so I was told what could and could not happen. So at no point did I even attempt to breastfeed them.
Okay.
My 16-year-old, I breastfed him, still didn't know anything, right? Because that wasn't happening around me. So I didn't know anybody that breastfed at all. So I nursed him for 2 months and he started teething. And I was like, yeah, nah, like, we're not doing that.
Right.
And so I pumped for him for the next 3 months. So he nursed for 2 months, pumped for him for 3 months, and he had breast milk for about 6 months. And so that was, you know, an experience. I was like, oh, I did it. You know, good job, mommy, right? And then I have a loss. And then I have my baby now, he was turned 1 in July. So he's 13, 14 months, and is an around the clock person. Refuses to take a bottle, refuses to take a pacifier. I am the bottle. I am the pacifier. And it's like, I love it. And I don't like it. Right. So you have to be okay with saying that. You have to make it okay to be okay with whatever. And this breastfeeding journey as a CLC, as a doula, as a postpartum mom is still up and down for me. You know, it's like we really, really, really have to create that space. And the Diverse Birth Collective does that. We really have to create that space for parents, moms, dads, spouses, whatever, to be able to say, this is my experience unapologetically, and be okay with being real, because we make it acceptable, for lack of better words, for other people to experience without being embarrassed, or experience without being like, oh, I can't say that it's a struggle for me because they're going to be like, oh, well, then you don't need to be doing it. Like, no, like it has not always been easy. He's a great nurser and has been from day one. But also it's taxing, you know, like it's a lot to have an exclusively breastfed baby who wants to nurse while you're cooking, who wants to nurse. I just posted on social media the other day that I have been walking through the stores or romp and roll or playground or park or in the car nursing my baby at any point in time. And I was grocery shopping a few days ago, and I got this 25-pound baby with my boob out.
That's 25 pounds, though.
25 pounds. 25
wow.
pounds. This 25-pound baby nursing and pushing a basket and still putting groceries in my cart. And a young lady with another child walked past. She was like, I just wanted to tell you that you are a superwoman. And I was like, oh, you know, because I'm not trying to be a superwoman. I'm trying to, I'm doing what I need to do to get it done. Right. And I just have to, like, I can't do anything else. And it's an up and down. It's a good day and bad day. He's been cluster feeding for 3 months.
Wow.
And it's just
Wow.
like that's it's not necessarily that he's cluster feeding, it's that I want to nurse. I want to be on your breast, and because it's comforting to me, and I'm watching TV and I want to nurse while I'm doing that, and I just want to nurse all the time. It's up and down, it's good and bad, but it's beautiful, and I wouldn't change it for anything. And you're gonna meet him in a second because he just woke up and he's gonna want to nurse.
Well, come on in. Come on in the room. Titus, for real, we want to see you.
He's a mess.
So Coach Shantae has entered the scene. So we say thank you so much. Look, we are working moms for real. Trying to make it happen. So we thank you. We are moving through the questions, but do you have any questions that you would like to ask our special guest today?
Not yet. Like you said, working moms, I've been on the move, so I haven't gotten a chance to listen in to everything just yet. So I'm going to listen in a little bit more. Hey, Titus, before I ask my question.
Okay. Well, I do have one more question.
Sure.
What's your advice for moms who cannot or do not wish to breastfeed?
It's okay. It is okay. Like, is your baby eating? Are you making sure that your baby is eating or being fed? Then you are doing the best job. Like, in whatever your journey is. So even as a CLC and an exclusively breastfeeding mom myself, my goal is not to make everybody breastfeed. Just like my goal as a doula is not to make everybody have an unmedicated birth. What is your journey? Right. What does it look like for you? Well, let's support that. Let's work with that. So if you say, I breastfed in the hospital, I hated it, I never want to do it again, cool. I'm not going to debate with you. I'm not going to tell you what the benefits or, the yay or the nay is. It's like, let's support you on that journey, And so I think my advice is do what works for you and your family and your lifestyle and your mental health, because what it's not worth is risking your mental health to do something for someone else. So if you're saying, I don't want to breastfeed, if you're saying, I don't want to nurse, then that's what you have decided for yourself and for your baby and for your family. So anybody else saying something outside of that is in the way. And you have to be able to say, this is what I'm doing. And you need to be around people that support you doing the things that work for you. It's okay. It's okay if you don't ever want to breastfeed. It's okay. Please feed your baby. That's what I want you to do. I want you to feed your baby. Please do that. But protect your mental health, because postpartum depression is real. It's real. It's huge. Postpartum psychosis, like, it's huge. People, moms are like taking their own lives because it's so hard. And especially as Black women, we don't always get that support that we need in any aspect of it, right? So whether we're breastfeeding, whether we are bottle feeding, as a mom, period, it's hard and it's a lot. I don't care if you're a single mom, a married mom, poly mom. I don't care what your situation is. It is so hard. And so whatever you choose to do it unapologetically, and tell people where they can go if they don't necessarily agree with how you want to feed or raise your kids. Someone forever, I have 22-year-olds almost, someone forever is going to be giving you advice that you didn't ask for on how to raise your kids. So let it go in one ear and out the other, and you do what works best for you. Feed your baby. That's my only thing, is to feed your baby, and whatever that looks like, that's what I want you to do. And so I will say that if you are feeding your baby, your newborn shouldn't be getting 3 ounces. So that's the direction of the conversation, not you to be breastfeeding. If that's not what you want to do, I support you, sis. Let's talk about what pace feeding is. Let's talk about, what diapers will look like or should look like. Let's talk about how often baby might want to eat and what feeding cues are. But we don't have to discuss breastfeeding at all if that's not what you want to do. That's not my journey. That's your journey.
I love it. Do you, boo?
Do you, boo? Do you?
But you know what? That's so super important, because I think oftentimes, especially when you are in certain spaces and certain communities, you feel compelled to do a thing, um and a part of my journey was I definitely desired to err on the side of a natural birth and had to end up having a cesarean. That's not what I was checking for, but
Right.
that's what, like I'm mom, this is what it is. So you
Yeah.
either take it or not. Like, you know what? Just come on through. Just come
Yeah.
on through. So I get it. I definitely get it.
Yeah.
Coach Latoya, Coach Shantae, anything else to add or ask before we wrap it up?
I just want to say that you are our first guest of uh, Breastfeeding Awareness Month who has breastfed. So thank you for bringing it all together
Yes,
for the
13,
last week.
14 months and counting.
Say that again.
I said 13, 14 months and counting. You know,
That is
he's a
amazing.
year. I don't know how to do the months.
That is amazing. And I'm happy to hear that. That is one of the hallmarks of breastfeeding is like it is on demand. It
Yeah,
Mhm.
leaves very little room for you to do your own thing, be in your own space, whatever baby needs, whenever baby needs it. That is the schedule.
that
So
is
I'm
it.
grateful
Mhm.
that you touched on that and you've shown the reality of that because it really can be a fantasy fairy tale type thing for some people, and then they go
Yeah,
into
Mhm.
it with this thought process like, oh, my breastfeeding experience is gonna go just like this. My
yeah,
birthing process is gonna go just like this, and then they get in there and it's something totally different, and it causes all kinds of turmoil. So I'm
mm-hmm.
Mhm.
grateful that you're advocating for the realness of what breastfeeding is all about because at the end of the day, as long as baby is eating, getting good nutrients, having enough soiled diapers, wet diapers, you're good to go. And you should
Yeah,
be focused on just loving on your baby and giving them as much nurturing and bonding time as you can. So thank you for
yeah.
just bringing that point home and making sure that the people understand that because that is critical.
Thank you. Thank you.
Critical.
Critical.
Coach Latoya, anything to add or ask before we close out?
Yes, I just want to veggie back on what Coach Shantae just mentioned. Everything you expressed the realities of breastfeeding. I can definitely relate to that. You love it, but some things you don't like either. So that's a real thing. And sometimes it's the desire to just not be touched and not wanting, especially if you had a cycle while breastfeeding, a period while breastfeeding. That's a whole nother element. And
Mm,
something else you mentioned was about the baby getting everything that they need. One of the things that that's something that I definitely agree with, and I think about it even now that my daughter is 4 years old and how it impacts her now. So you saying that really resonates with me. But I was like, she got everything she needs. That's why she's the way she is, why she's confident,
yeah,
because there's certain things you just see over the years,
yeah.
so thank you for bringing that back up.
Thank
I love
you.
it. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Yes. So, before we go, Natasha, where can people find you?
So you can find me on the Diverse Birth Collective. Um, you can
Mm-hmm.
find me, and you can at the Diverse Birth Collective and get a group of doulas there, CLC and a certified breastfeeding specialist as well. You can find me personally on I believe it's my first and last name on Instagram, NyTasha Stevens, and then on Facebook it's my name. Now I want to tell you, I am, yeah, we know, I am Mama. All right, so it's a lot about my babies on there, but you will still get content about and information, especially this month. I've kind of like really kind of upped it
Oh,
on like breastfeeding and things like that. Being that it's well breastfeeding and black breastfeeding, all that. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I think it's I think I'm pretty sure it's my first and last name on Instagram, and then that too on Facebook. So reach out, and I'm all for doing like assessments. And now I am not I do know that people do lactation things over the phone. I cannot. I cannot help you over the phone. I need to see what's going on. Like I can have a conversation with you, but you won't get the best of what you need over the phone. I'm not sure how people do breastfeeding assessments without being in the space.
Listen, when we had our face to face, and she was the one who told me about the flange. We talked about that earlier on. She was like, "Oh no, that is first of all, let's bring that back." So I appreciate. I'm like, look, this is what it is, and this is what I have. She was like, "Oh, absolutely not. This is not what we're gonna do." So, I am again super duper duper grateful. Well, Fanny, you can find NyTasha Stevens at the Diverse Birth Collective on IG. And she is also NyTasha Stevens on Instagram and on Facebook. So if you have any questions as it relates to just birth work, period, the Diverse Collective is definitely, and these are I know them personally. So, I vouch for them 3,000%.
Thank you.
So you are welcome anytime, and you're welcome back anytime. We say thank you so much for coming on, and we do have a little special something for you. So I'm gonna put you backstage and ask that you just stay on just for a hot moment before we go.
Okay, thanks for having me, y'all. I appreciate you.
Thanks for coming. All right, let's see. Can I do it like that? Hold on, y'all. All right, so we'll be back next month with a brand new topic of Mind, Body, and Spirit with the Emerald Green Collective Build Through broadcast. Until next week, Friday, we say peace, love, and hold on, y'all. Peace, love, and wholeness.
So.
Peace, y'all.